Muller Birmingham Grand Prix, part of the Wanda Diamond League, stop 2 out of 13, the first one in Europe. It's a sellout. All of the tickets that were made available for what is essentially a test event have sold. It's live on BBC television. We have 5 para-athletics events, and we're going to be meeting one of the leading lights for that. They have parity of prize money with the other events in the programme tomorrow. So, without further ado, I'll introduce them to the top table in the order I've got them here. So we welcome, first of all, the reigning world champion in the women's 200 metres, Dina Smith. Then the Olympic bronze medalist at 1500 metres in Tokyo, Josh Kerr. The silver medalist from Tokyo in the women's 800 metres, Keely Hodgkinson. The bronze medalist, 15 times the British champion by my count, in the women's pole vault, Bradshaw. And the 2:38 Tokyo Paralympic champion in the men's 100 metres, Thomas Young. I don't think there are any one-to-ones available at the end of this, so we'll try and exhaust as many questions as you have. I have a few. Let's start with everybody. You've had your first look at the stadium. What are your impressions? Let's start at the far end. Tom, what do you think of the stadium? It's
honestly beautiful to come back here, after a few years away, into a brand new stadium to race here tomorrow and have a Commonwealth Games in a few weeks' time. It's so exciting to see, and it's so exciting knowing I'm going to be part of a great stadium to run at.
Holly?
Yeah, echo that. It's a beautiful stadium. For the pole vaulters, we've kind of switched orientation, so we're not on the back straight, we're on the D, so that'll be interesting. And I think, any opportunity to get to compete in front of a home crowd is brilliant, and I think in such a beautiful stadium, I think the most beautiful stadium in the UK now, I think it kind of surpasses the Olympic Stadium now, so I'm super excited.
Keely?
Well, yeah, the same. It is a beautiful stadium. I think I last saw this stadium in 2017. I've not been here since, so it's nice to see it looking all shiny and brand new.
Josh, you're in the fortunate position of having been pre-selected for the Commonwealth Games here for Scotland. What are your impressions of the stadium and the blue track?
The blue track is great for us Scots. What I will say is that, they've obviously added crazy amount of capacity, and I think the UK crowd will be able to sell it out, and so I think we're in for a real treat come the Commonwealth Games.
Pre-selection, I was thinking, lucky piece for some, but no, again, it's beautiful. Just to echo everything that everybody's already said. Hi, everybody, obviously, and it looks fantastic. Super excited for our home Commonwealth Games. I think this summer is full of opportunities for us with 3 major champs, but to have it in such a beautiful stadium in a place that is historically so much part of our the DNA of British track and field, I think is amazing. So.
We'll work our way back along the line, because for most people it's a World Championship year, a Commonwealth Games year, a European Championship year. But Tom, for you, the World Championships in Japan, the World Para Championships have been cancelled. What does that do to your programme? What are your priorities?
We're just going to, carry on with the season. Luckily, I still have the Commonwealth Games. We have a few IPC Grand Prix to go out to and run out too, but luckily, it's still in 2024, so we still get a great chance to go and run in Kobe in a few years, but for now it's just about focusing on this year, focusing on my Grand Prix and the Commonwealth Games on August the 3rd.
And your event tomorrow, the Ambulant 100 metres, is a combined category. The last time you raced Zach Shaw, which you will again tomorrow, 200ths between you?
It's been so close for years now between me and Zach. Zach's a great person and a great athlete too, so I really love racing Zach, and I'm really excited to have another chance to race him tomorrow because, as you said, it's always close between us, and we really love pushing each other forward too.
How important is it for you for para events to be included in the main programme of Wanda Diamond Leagues?
I think every single para athlete really appreciates, the support and the sponsorship we're getting, because in the past we've not been invited to events, so now to get invited to events now, and to be included in the prize money schedule too now, I think just thank you to the sponsors, thank you to British Athletics for supporting us and, listening to us, and we're really excited to push parasport on further.
As we work our way along the line, we're going to be talking to people about how relatively little they've competed this year. You, by contrast, have competed a lot. 7 indoor races, already 7 outdoor races. Is that part of the plan? Do you like to get a lot of
really?
races?
Yeah, so I started a big indoor season. I ran for my university. I'm at Loughborough Uni, so I had a few races of going out to books, and then I had to go and get classified so I can compete in parasport this year. That all went really well, thank you. So we, again, had to start again quite early, but in the end, yeah, we are going to have a few more races, and we'll come out on August. We'll come out on August the 3rd, and hopefully have a good end to the season.
And I'm going to ask everybody, if the programme allows, when your event is done or before your event at a major championship, what other disciplines do you like to go and watch in the stands? What are your favourites?
I just love everything to do with a sport, so every single sport, whether I'm watching back at home on the TV or live in the stadium, I just love watching every single event.
Let's turn our attention to Holly. You made a comment about the runway being moved to this side. Was it generally windy when it was in the back straight?
I think, to be honest, it's generally windy wherever you are in the stadium. But I think for us it was either a headwind or a tailwind, and it was literally just potluck 50-50. Like 50% of my comps here have been beautiful conditions, beautiful tailwind, and then the other half have been really bad headwinds. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with the dynamics of the stadium how the wind hits tomorrow. And for me, it's important to know that ahead of the Commonwealth Games, and then I can kind of plan for that.
You're the only one in the lineup who is a competitor at London 2012. We do have a kit carrier at this end. You've been around a long time. Does that Olympic bronze medal kind of satisfy you in your career? Are you entering another phase of your career now that you've achieved that?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this a lot since the Olympics, and I've had a really challenging 9 months with illness and injury, and it really has tested my motivation, but I absolutely love the sport. And for me, sat here right now, having jumped to PB, which I worked on for 9 years, and to secure the Olympic medal, it's ticked every box that I could ever have dreamed of. And I'm kind of entering this new phase, like you say, where I just feel weightless, I feel carefree, and I feel like it's these next 3 years I've earned the right to absolutely just enjoy every moment. And that's not to say I wasn't doing beforehand, but I would come into meets, I'd be stressed, oh, I'm not ready, oh, I feel sick, like, how am I going to be received? And now I'm just absolutely loving every minute, and just every opportunity for me is just enjoyment, fun, and just taking it as it is. And I didn't know whether I'd ever reach this point, but I have, and I just feel really amazing.
Are you surprised there's nobody snapping at your heels on the British scene, that you've dominated it for so long? That has kind of been the history of British women's pole vaulting, one outstanding competitor, but then somebody else coming through, at least by this stage you would expect.
I think pole vault's a really tricky one. My coach actually only got employed in 2018, so we don't have the history of the coaches there. We don't have the history of the equipment and the facilities, and you know, it's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to inspire people to take pole vault up so it does grow. And I really hope over the next 30 years we can have people coming up and challenging my national record. And we have a couple of really exciting boy and girls kind of at the under 18 age. And there's obviously Molly and Sophie who are around the 450 mark. But I think pole vault is a very unique event. It requires a lot of coaching, dedication, a lot of persistence. It's very mental, it's very physical. And I think I don't really have an answer to why someone's not come up. I think me and Scott talk about this a lot. Like, I am operating, you know, and I have been operating for the last 10 years in the top 8 in the world. And, you know, I don't know whether it is like an inspiration thing. I think people are inspired, but it's just not happened.
I noticed you commented about Night of the PBs last week, the specialist 10,000 metre event that is such a huge and different spectacle within athletics. What are your thoughts on that and its role in the development of perhaps your discipline?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about 10,000 metre running other than my husband, who's like quite into distance running, but I just absolutely loved watching it. I really got into it, and I never thought I would, and I just think it was the presentation of it and how different and fun it was. And it's not that kind of meet is all around Europe. Like, I go to 4 or 5 meets like that in Germany or in Poland, pole vault only meets, or there might be the shot put or the high jump there. There's a beer tent, there's loads of people just enjoying, they're really close to the pole vault, they're just loud music and things like that. So it isn't it isn't a shock to me that that kind of happens, but what it is a shock in the UK. Like, there's not many meets like that, and I think the more we can have events like that, more people would come to the UK. Like, I'm pretty sure in 10 years' time, loads of, overseas athletes will be coming to Highgate. They already are, and I think the more we can get in the UK, the better, because then your British athletes will stay there and want to compete.
What other event do you like to go and watch at a championship, either side of yours?
Well, obviously, the obvious one is men's pole vault, and I will stay at a championship late to watch the men's pole vault. But other than that, I think men's high jump, I saw Dina looking at me then, so obviously the women's 200. But apart from the women's 200, probably the men's high jump. Like, there's a good camaraderie between them. I love watching Barshim jump. He's so, he just floats along the track, and then you've got Tampere, who's a character. So I think that's a really interesting event to watch.
Keely, when last we saw you in Birmingham, you had an amazing run. It really sort of raised expectations around your year, and then the disappointment of withdrawing from Belgrade, having travelled. What's the state of play with you at the moment?
Well, yeah, Belgrade was disappointing for me. Obviously, I was going there hoping to bring back a medal or a title at least. But I made the decision not to run, and instead took 6 weeks to get healthy, make my quad strong, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. I do think everything happens for a reason, and I think that, maybe it happened then so it doesn't happen in June when I try something else. So that's kind of the mentality I had of it. So I kind of just moved on with it, and I'm healthy, and I'm looking forward to racing tomorrow, and I'm in a good place.
And what would be a reasonable expectation of what you can do where you are currently? It's your first race of the outdoor season.
You just have to wait and see. You just have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I like to go into my races and just attack it and just see what happens, who comes with me, someone might go ahead, you don't know.
And both domestically and internationally, women's 800 is in a very, very strong position at the moment. Athing Mo, the Olympic champion, has hardly lost a race for a couple of years. What are your thoughts on, what are her weaknesses as far as you're concerned?
She's a very strong athlete, as if you watch the race back in Eugene last year, no one touched her for the last 50 metres. So I'd say she doesn't really have any weaknesses, maybe stronger strengths. Like, obviously she's very fast, she can run 449. I'd say that's probably where I'm lacking on her. So I'm trying to work on that and just see, but it's hard to work on strengths and weaknesses. You don't want to compromise your strengths by working too hard on your weaknesses, so you kind of just got to go with what you're good at, and fingers crossed I'll catch her.
And you were available for selection for the 4x400 metres in Belgrade. Will we ever see a Great Britain women's 4x400 metre team with Keely, Hodgkinson and Dina Asher-Smith in it, do you think? And who would lead out and who would anchor that team?
This is Keely's question.
I think so, if Dina's down for another 400.
We'll find out.
But I think that'd be good fun.
And what other event do you like to go and see, aside from your own?
Any women's sprints, 1, 2 and 4.
I paid
That's
them
very,
all.
very diplomatic, given the daggers that Ollie got for the previous answer. Let's turn to Mr. Yogurtgate himself, Josh Kerr. Notwithstanding the little spat we had yesterday, I'm one of the people that felt you didn't really get enough credit for a medal in one of the most amazing 1,500 metre fields ever, the fastest 1,500 Olympic final ever, but that's partly a function of being 8 time zones away. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's such a whirlwind experience, and I've never been to an Olympics before, and we were able to come away with a great result, and we were happy with it. But, I just kind of went back and resumed normal life. I didn't think anything really off it, and, it's not like I love the attention or anything like that. As you can see from my Instagram game, it's pretty weak. But, I just went back, and I went back to work because as much as it's a dream to get a medal at the Olympics. It's not my final goal, and I knew I needed to get back to work to be able to keep up with the 2 guys that beat me, and even the guys behind me that maybe didn't have their best day. So, yeah, it's a tough, really, really tough event. I was happy about my performance, but I'm just not satisfied quite yet.
I'll give you a question now that we had from Mark Woods, and he that's a Scottish journalist remotely. He said, can you take your place at the Worlds for granted, or will it be a battle of the Brits again?
As you know, I don't think I can ever take my spot in 1,500 for granted. It's such a deep event, and every year it surprises me of new people coming through, and I think it's an amazing thing for us as a future of 1,500 metre runners in Britain. It is a shame. It used to be like you ran the standard and you just made the team. So on the day you're like, well, I wish it was like that, but before and after, I'm like, you know what, I really enjoy, because it means that I have to turn up with my A game, and I'm always challenged on the UK circuit. I'm challenged way more on the UK circuit than I am ever in the US circuit. So that's what I love and enjoy.
Mark also asks, does this mean you'll do more Wanda Diamond League races going forward, this being your second one ever?
Yeah, that's the thing is, just trying to, I obviously have a team over in the US, and I really enjoy traveling with them and racing with them, and we work on a day in day out basis, and so it's not ever really been part of that schedule, because I'd never really done a load, and being based in the UK, you're lucky enough to have a couple of European ones and things like that, and then Pre never really worked out, so it was just like I want to come home and run Birmingham, or when it was London I ran London. So yeah, I do think it's going to be more part of the plan right now.
And having been pre-selected for Scotland, it's only a short Commonwealth programme, it's only 5 days here, but the opportunity is there to double. You've got the qualifying standard at more than one discipline. What are your thoughts about Commonwealth Games in Birmingham?
I'm just really excited about it. I think as athletes we have to kind of have our mind on one thing, and then we start switching it to the other. So for me, I've got my mind set on the World Championships right now, and as soon as that's kind of done and completed with, it's that huge reset of just getting back to thinking about competing again, and that's difficult. And we've never really had to deal with that before, and you never really know what's going to happen. So I think I'll just focus on the 15 right now, and yeah, I'll wrap my head around those when it comes.
What did you, your 5,000 metre debut? I was stood on the inside of the track.
Yeah.
You were in a world of pain there, weren't you?
Yeah, it wasn't great, but that's what the 5K is all about. That's why I open my year with a 5K every year, because it gives you that appreciation that you're really good at your event, and other events are really difficult. And I had 2K. I think I PB'd through 3K, and when you get put into a world-class race like that, you just kind of go for it and see what happens. And the last 2K was tough, and all I could think about was, this is more than the distance I'm going to be running in 2 weeks' time. So, endure it for now and get ready for something big in a couple of weeks.
What do you like to watch apart from your own event?
At championships, I love watching the relays, 4x4, 4x1. But yeah, I would say that. But something like this, I'll just sit and watch any kind of middle distance event. I love watching the 800 as well as the 5K. It's just, I just enjoy track and field.
Dina Asher-Smith, we never get to see you in the winter. You never call, you never ring, you never write.
Sorry.
How has your winter been, and how has the opening to your summer been?
I've been good, thank you. I've been good. Clearly, I've been paying all these guys say they want to watch the sprints. But no, I'm joking. Please don't start. But yeah, I've been good. I've had a really good winter, actually. It's been solid, no interruptions. I've just been, just training, just living life. It's been good. I've had fun. Well, the 400 wasn't fun. So I've had the opportunity to start with a 4, a 3, then down to the 2 last week in Doha, and now we're opening with the 1s this week. So yeah, it's been a solid start to the season, solid start to what is going to be a very good year, and we're all happy with things so far. So yeah.
Your mother always has this wish that you run an 800 metres. Will that come true one day?
No, my mum. I don't know why she says that, but no, not going to happen. Sorry.
It's almost 10 seasons since you became European Junior Champion back in Rieti in 2013. Does your spring into summer follow a similar pattern, or have you changed things? Would it be noticeably different this year?
That is a very good question. I think this year is a unique year for Brits. We've got the Worlds, Commonwealths and Europeans, obviously, which we've all been talking about. You have to have your mind in the World Championships, and obviously I've got 4 titles to defend across all those championships. So, 5, because you won Commonwealths. 5, yeah. Sorry, 5. Oh, yeah, 5. So I will be definitely hoping to make an appearance at all of them, but because of that, you do have to be just mindful with your season, mindful with how you're racing, and obviously your periodisation, because we've got to hold a peak for about 6 weeks, which is something unique. It's going to be an amazing opportunity just to see what can be done and just go into it with open expectations and have fun with it, because, this is something we've never seen for Brits before, and I'm really excited to get to, the business end of the season. And
tomorrow, great field, notwithstanding Elaine's withdrawal. Do you feel like it could take a 10-7, 10-8 with a little bit of a tailwind to win it? And are you in that kind of form?
I feel like if you ran that come time, everybody will be really happy. So, it is definitely May. It is definitely May. I think everybody's always mindful to remember that it is May, and we've got, again, 3 major championships at the other end of the season. But who knows what it's going to take? Who knows? Hopefully it's going to be an amazing race, and I feel good, so I'm excited.
How does your season go from here? Have you got races penciled in?
Yeah, I don't know if I can announce them all because I don't know if they've been all announced. I will definitely be at Prefontaine next week, so we've got quite a tight turnaround between Doha, Birmingham and Pre, and hopefully do a few more pushing into the trials, and then 3 major championships, which will be, the business end for me.
And you'll be travelling, and other members of the British team will be travelling and in camps and based remotely. How does the relay team come together in that sort of scenario? Have you practiced
yesterday?
Yesterday?
Yeah,
Okay.
To be fair, actually, I feel like it's going to be good because you've got so many relay races and championships this year. Like, there's so many opportunities to actually practice. Obviously, last year was difficult and different because it was like the pandemic, and then you had bits where like you couldn't even be within like 6 foot of people. So how can you practice like a team event? So obviously different conditions this year. We practiced yesterday. That was good. Got an opportunity to race tomorrow, which is amazing as well. And then, we'll have camps and stuff before the major championships. But, I feel like we're going to be actually, pretty well versed in relay by the time September comes. So,
Was it any consolation to you to bring back a relay medal from Tokyo, or were you just a bit bereft about the whole thing?
I mean, obviously it's nice to bring home a medal. It's always nice to win a medal. But, I definitely didn't intend for that to be the one that I had coming into the summer and getting injured at trials. That was just not what I saw for myself kind of at the Olympic Games, and it was frustrating because I did feel like I was in a really good place, and we've again we've done a lot of work to that place, but at the same time we've got 3 champs this year, world champs next year, and Olympics the year after, so we just keep moving on.
I'll ask you about that as my final question, but before that, what other event do you like to
I like obviously everything that these guys do. I like the hurdles. I love watching the hurdles. I think it's not even just a skill, I think it's a talent, and particularly the men's high hurdles. I think it's amazing to watch. So
Jess Whittington of World Athletics has the same question for all of you, so we'll start this end and go down. How are your excitement levels about competing at the World Championships and that new stadium in Oregon?
The Oregon Stadium's really nice. It's really special. I remember, I think that was one of my first races after Tokyo, and if I'm being honest, I had no idea what I could have run for a 200 at that point because coming off an injury, it wasn't something that I saw myself really doing. But I ran really fast. I feel like it's a really, really fast track, and I'm excited. It's beautiful, and obviously the crowd is really knowledgeable and really into athletics. They're really passionate, and they're really invigorated and excited. So it's going to be an amazing chance.
Mr. West Coast Yogurt Pot?
How many names you got for me? I think I've not raced there since it's been kind of renovated, but I've seen it and I think it looks fantastic. Like Dina was saying, that the knowledge of the fans is going to be fantastic. It's going to be packed, and I'm just looking to qualify and get there and have a good time.
You won an NCAA in Haywardsfield, didn't you?
It was a very special moment, and for them to be able to pack that place out just for a college meet versus a full World Championships, I know how crazy it's going to be when it comes to July.
Keely?
I'm the same with the crowd, really. I think we got a glimpse of it last year in Prefontaine last year, but I think they're really into athletics, so I think it's going to be a good atmosphere. I'd rather it be a British crowd, but we'll take what we can get. I think it's going to be good fun.
Holly?
Again, echo the knowledgeable crowd. For pole vault, it makes a big difference having a rhythmical clap and people who can follow the event, and the American crowd are really good at that, like the British. So I'm really excited for that, and I just would like to jump a bit higher there. Like, my track record hasn't been great. I think I've jumped to 26, a 35, and then actually 70 plus last year. So I think I need to redeem myself because I haven't had the best track record there. But the new stadium is insane, and the track's great, and everything about it just feels fresh and modern.
Do you know all the heights in Imperial? Because that's what they do over. You don't. So you don't know if you're attempting 14 feet or 15.
No, luckily, on the circuit, it's all in meters, and the tape measures in meters. But my American colleagues get very frustrated because they've got it all. Like, Katie has it written all up her arm, like the conversion, and I'm lucky I don't have to do that.
Tom, no Eugene for you. Does that mean that Commonwealth here becomes like the pinnacle target for your season?
Yes, certainly, yes. So, as I mentioned, I've got some Grand Prix out in Paris in a few weeks, but the main event for me this year is the Games in August, and I'm so excited to be able to, as I've said, to run here, and it's going to be an unbelievable few weeks for British and English sport, for British and English sport.
Questions from you. If you just raise your hand, and I'll come to you, Ben.
Dina, there's been some incredibly fast times laid down by some of your rivals last year and the year before. How frustrating has it been for you not being able to show how much you've improved since 2019 because of the pandemic and then the injury?
It's been a long time since I ran a PB, and I'm definitely one of those people who, not always, but I tend to PB year on year. That's been annoying. But there's a time for everything, and I'm confident in the work that I've done. I'm confident in my team, and I'm confident in just how much of a different person, a different athlete I am since 2019. Like, it's light years away. So when I peak, which is championship time for me, it'll be amazing to be able to lay down some really good times and hopefully some good performances, and yeah.
If you were to break your British records in Eugene at the World Champs, but potentially it wasn't good enough to make it onto the podium, how would those mixed emotions feel?
I mean, I don't think it would be too mixed emotions for me, because I would always aim to get on the podium and be successful there. So I don't think it would be too mixed, because British records are great, but at the same time it's the global stage that I really want to be doing stuff on. So, I mean, obviously records are lovely, and but that isn't ever my priority coming into a championships, isn't ever my priority coming into a season. I always just want to go and be successful at championships, so it wouldn't be too mixed.
Sean?
I just wanted to clarify first of all, Dina, you said you want to do all three major champs. You said, I've got 5 titles to defend, and I'm definitely aiming to go all of them. Have you chosen sort of what you want to do at each of the 3 majors?
Well, I will obviously be... I have to qualify, so... Yeah. I'd like to double up definitely at World Championships, and then with Commonwealths and Europeans, we are definitely going to be a bit more... just mindful of how World Championships is and how I feel coming off that, because it is a really tight turnaround. And sorry that I can't be more specific at this time, because we've all got our forecasts, but at the same time you have to be reactive and just react to the fact that we've got a lot of races in an incredibly short space of time.
And I had a question just for everyone. The British athletics, UK athletics, under new management at the moment, got a new chair coming, new chief executive. In the past, some of you have been critical that the Federation hasn't done more to support you, more to promote the sport. I wondered if maybe each of you had, if they came to you and said, what would you like to do differently, what advice would you give them? And would a Netflix Drive to Survive series for athletics work?
Work our way along, start with you.
Oh, I think Netflixing would definitely work. I think that would be amazing, just to get to know some of the culture and let kind of athletes as well connect and showcase themselves as well, because there's sometimes a disconnect about what athletics is in the wider press and the media, and what it actually is like for us behind the scenes and the travelling life. So I think that would be a really good insight to actually get to know what it takes to be elite, and what we're like, and how much fun it actually is. And I mean, I would just always love to see athletics promoted and being elevated. Well, it is a top-tier sport in the UK, but definitely cement its status there. I'd like to have more events in all the major cities, maybe get some of the street races back, and as Holly was saying earlier, make sure that we've got lots of fun, energetic and energised events, and we're engaging a new audience. And I think that should be the priority, to make sure that we engage Gen Z, millennials and everything. And yeah.
Josh?
That's a fantastic answer, that.
Sorry,
is,
what she said.
Bang on. I mean, she's got ideas that I didn't think of, but are now my ideas. So, all of that. Right, let's talk. Let's talk.
You can talk.
I love yogurts. That's all. How about that? Work, everyone?
No, but even more sponsors come with a new renewed audience as well, and there's always going to be a place for Muller, always, because we absolutely love Muller. Done so much for the sports, but more and more categories are always welcome.
Thank you. Keely.
It's my PR. I can't be trusted.
No, you can. It's great.
Was it me? Oh.
Yeah.
Literally what Dina said, but also to add on to the Netflix side of things, I think it would also be really cool. I think athletics is such a great sport, but it's almost hard to also understand the numbers on the clock. If you could showcase that, I think it would make it more easier to enjoy, especially people in the public. You know, if you knew what 45 for 400 hurdles meant, you might actually get excited about it then. But other normal people just see this time on the clock and they're like, what does that mean? So I think it'd be good to go in depth about that and let people understand. But But other than that, yeah, just showcase athletes' personalities. I don't think you get to see it that much, and there's a lot of great people in the sport, so.
It's up to the athletes as well as the media. Sometimes it's hard for agents, not mentioning names, but you are sometimes you're protecting your time as well. So
yeah, it is a fine line. I'd say you don't want to. Our priority obviously is training, and we need to turn up to the track in shape, and that's the number one priority because nothing else comes if you can't do that. So yeah, it would be a fine line, but it would definitely be interesting to get some ideas on the Netflix thing.
Oh yeah, I feel like Keely just said, athletes do need to be a bit more. It's not just from like the journalist side. Like the athletes do need to be more open. Like you watch Formula One and the journalists are walking through, just interviewing them. But then I also think there is like a bit of reservation from athletes historically. I don't know whether I'm speaking out of turn. I'm probably not. But athletes sometimes are misquoted, and then there is that distrust in some journalism that goes on. I think that builds like a bit of a bridge. But so I think that kind of needs to be open. But from my perspective, I think what Dina said about energised events, bringing, having a pole vault street meet, but the day before I'm there or the British girls are there, we get hundreds of kids down, we get them trying it. I think different kind of events like that work. And I think what I'd say to them is that there needs to be more of a team element, a team aspect within British athletics. I see it a lot in other different sports, and of course athletics is a beast. There's so many compared to other sports, so many more athletes, so many more employees, but somehow creating that team element amongst athletes, amongst staff, I think will just be much better for morale. Everyone will be happier, everyone will be like a unit working together towards a team, and I think that's something that's really important to me.
Would you like to go into coaching or administration of the sport after you retire?
I would really like to go into either of those things. I think the stumbling block for athletics is it's based in the Midlands, and I'm very much a Lancashire girl. I'm always going to move back there, and it's just impossible for me to start a family and commute to somewhere like Birmingham. But if there are possibilities to be on the logistical side or a coach in the Northwest, that would definitely be something that I'm interested in.
Tom, parasport.
It's really good, and it's, after I think since London, parasport.
Well, yeah, a perspective on how your side of the sport is governed.
I think since, London 2012, when the Paralympics really, really started to be, more watched, more recognised, that being a home games, it was really, really important then to push on, and the sport really did push on, and we got more and more household names in the sport, and having another home game this year, it's really important again, to raise awareness of the classifications of the different impairments, what parasport actually means, and really explain the sport, and with people being able to, come live and watch it, and with it being more on the media, more on the TV, it's going to be really important to showcase the sport in the positive factor that it is.
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry, Dina, just kind of going on what was previously asked about by Sean about the kind of the leadership element. You're a figurehead of the sport. You're probably the most well-known athlete in the country at the moment. How important do you think it is that there's now stability at the top? It's chopped and changed a lot recently.
Yeah.
Sort of plans have been made, U-turns have been done. Is it an events country, isn't it, etc., etc. How important do you think it is now with the new incoming CEO that things are just given a bit of room to breathe?
Stability is so important, and I cannot underscore that enough, because at the end of the day, if we want to be an amazing, much-loved sport, the athletes, we have to give the public moments, we have to give performances, and that can really only be achieved by us also having stability around like our performances, our setups, understanding where camps are going to be, and stuff that just enables us to perform as well, understanding who our points of contact are. If we need to have something or ask something or have support, just knowing that there is somebody there that can offer that. And I think it's essential, and it's normally the most boring thing ever to talk about, stability, but that is honestly what breeds good performance. And as an organisation as well, stability, I can guess, would probably breed, just good performance from them as well. But yeah, for us, stability is essential, and I cannot underscore that enough.
Just in terms of yourself personally and performance-wise, how important's tomorrow now for you? Obviously, I mean, you sort of indicated that you weren't entirely satisfied with Doha. Is there a psychology element in wanting to sort of send a signal to the field? Because women's sprinting's so strong at the moment. Is there an element of wanting to put that marker down early and just kind of getting in their heads almost?
I don't know if I've given the indication that I wasn't necessarily satisfied with Doha. I don't recall. It was my first 200-metre race. It was so much faster than last year. And, I understand that other people are on different timetables. They've got different different trials to be peaking for and stuff like that. So we'll all be coming into May in different positions. So I'm still on my first race this season. I'm hoping to go and put together a good performance. I always want to do that for a British crowd, and I'm so excited to be running 100 metres here in Birmingham. I was saying to my coach earlier this week that I've worked on a lot of... I was saying this to Ricky, actually, in Doha, that I've worked on, and my coach, we've worked on so many elements of my 100 over the past few years. That was what we were doing, like, late 2020 lockdown, when it was just me and John at the track, no training partners, and we were working on just technical elements of my 100, and I'm really excited to get some good races together so you can get race fit, warm up, get back into the whole, oh yeah, the gun, oh yeah, the crowd, and not making those silly, rusty mistakes that you do in races, and putting down really just how much I've changed technically and how much stronger I've got, and I think hopefully it should pay dividends over that distance. But again, to be race fit, you need to race, and this is still my first one, but I was always going to be here, and I hope to put together an amazing performance for a home crowd.
If you were in a major championship final in perfect conditions with a plus 1.9, what's your ultimate time, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you run 10.4? Did you run 10.4?
10.4? I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really a time person. Those of you that have known me for years have known that I've never really been one to throw out time, simply because it's not because I don't necessarily think I can do something. It's because sometimes we truly don't know what we can do. And I've been in so many situations particularly when I was younger, maybe in the juniors and stuff, when I thought, oh yeah, if I could run this, I'll be amazing. I think my first moment of this is when I was in Birmingham years ago, when I first raced Alison Felix. That was like one of the happiest days of my life, and I think I was going into that race thinking if I could get like a 22.6, 22.7, I'd be really happy, and I think I ran like a 22.2 or 22.3. So why would I tell myself like this is my target? You've just got to be open-minded and make sure that you put the processes in your race together as well as possible, because with perfect conditions you don't know what's possible, but again you might get a Gateshead and then you just got to run for the win.
You were there, weren't you?
I was there.
Right out.
Yeah.
Sean.
Just on that subject, there's been an awful lot of talk about the iconic Flojo world record, which in the past would have seen craze, and it was probably a +5 wind at Eugene that day, but whatever. With the improved spikes, with the faster tracks, you've heard Elaine talk about she thinks she can break it. Do you think it is possible that someone can break it in the next 10 years, given the advantages of technology?
Yeah, I think so. And definitely given the advantages of technology, just definitely given the increase... Sorry, I'm chewing my words there, I apologise. But definitely given the increase in track technology as well. Because I remember I ran in Eugene and that track was great. That track was really, really good. And that plus all the advantages. Again, pardon? The competition and the domestic competition, the international competition, nice little wind, an amazing crowd, because we've all been kind of starved of a crowd as well, given the pandemic. And I think, again, we shouldn't put limits on ourselves. I think when you just stop thinking about limits and you really just, focus on the processes, who knows what can be achieved, because everything seems impossible until it's done. So, yeah.
Can you break that world record?
Me? I would. If I said no, what would you say? No, I'm joking. Who knows? Honestly, crazier things are done and nothing's impossible. And I'm just excited to just go out there and put together some really good races. But, who knows?
We've run out of time. I'm getting cut gestures from the back.
I talk too much.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much. That was everybody's only opportunity to speak to you. So good luck, all 5 of you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. And thanks to all of you. We'll see you on the track tomorrow.
Thank you. Oh.
If we could just stage one photo of you.